It's not a conspiracy, it's a fucking idiocracy. Honestly. That's what it is. Like, it's a bunch of guys that wear nice suits and have nice haircuts, patting each other on the back and saying, aren't we all so fucking smart, and being wrong year after year after year after year after year. No, this is the thing I think about a lot, and which is basically kind of economic conspiracy theories that are driven by the internet, sometimes by YouTube. The first thing I want to say is, look, the situation we're in is bad. I'm 100% aware of that. And the situation that we have put a lot of people, especially young people, but not just young people, in, is really bad. These people, they don't know how they're going to ever be able to support a family, how they're ever going to be able to afford a decent home. Increasingly, they don't even know how they're going to pay for food and bills, right? And at the same time, the information that they're being given on the media is confusing, it's not clear. Very often, in my opinion, it's flat out wrong. You know, I talk about it again and again. 450 billion pounds got given to the rich in the last 3 years from the government. An enormous, enormous amount of money. And you should expect that that will push prices up and cause crises of inequality and of living standards and of inflation for ordinary people. That's actually not super complicated. We've spoken about it on the channel. No one on the news is talking about it. So if this is the context you're in, you can understand why people are going to be like, oh my God, this is like a conspiracy theory. The information is being kept from us. So I want to talk a little bit about the situation. And the situation is in many ways is worse, right? The cold truth of the matter is, these guys are not smart enough to make a conspiracy theory. Listen, I've worked in economics for a long time, okay? I've worked in one of the biggest investment banks in the world. I studied at the London School of Economics. I studied at Oxford. I've been in and around the media now. It's not the case that these guys know what's happening and are hiding it from you. These guys are clueless. They are just making it up as they go along. Like, seriously, like, when they said at the beginning of the crisis that they thought house prices will collapse, and then when they said they thought there'll be a really aggressive bounce back because of demand, pent-up demand was the phrase, they believe all that stuff. They believe all that stuff. And the truth is, this is what happens. This is what happens, right? Something happens, and these guys say, oh my God, what do you think is going to happen? And somebody just shouts a thing out like, oh, well, an idea, well, there's going to be pent-up demand, so we're going to have a big bounce back. And then these guys just write it because they have to write. You know what I mean? They're not even stopping to think, am I right? Am I wrong? The truth is, like, this is the blind leading the blind here. You know, we shouldn't live in a world where a 24-year-old kid can walk into one of the biggest banks in the world and be the best trader in the world at that bank. But we do live in that world because even on the trading floors, and these guys work the longest hours, have the best information, have the best incentivization scheme, normally are the best qualified, even there, most people have got no idea what they're talking about. And I think ultimately what this comes down to, and we've spoken about this in a video before, is this problem of why do all of the best jobs go to rich kids? You know, ultimately, you know, I was speaking to somebody from The Observer, and I said to him, look, your newspaper is based in London. How many kids do you have in your newspaper who talk like me? None, right? None. And you know, I worked in a skyscraper just over there. This has been filmed in East London. I worked in a skyscraper just over there. Somebody asked me on the trading floor, that's an interesting accent, where are you from? You know what I mean, right? What does that tell you about how we are using our best and our brightest and our smartest kids? You know, there's 10 million people in the city, and you can't find a single ordinary person to work in the newspapers or work in the skyscrapers, right? We've developed a system where we basically funnel kids from rich families into private schools and elite jobs without ever really stopping to ask, are these guys any fucking good? And listen, I can guarantee you, in the majority of cases, these guys, they know how to look smart, they know how to talk smart, but they never started thinking once in their lives. They just walked into these spaces, you know what I mean? So then the end result is, it's not a conspiracy, it's a fucking idiocracy. Honestly, that's what it is. Like, it's a bunch of guys that wear nice suits and have nice haircuts, patting each other on the back and saying, aren't we all so fucking smart, and being wrong year after year after year after year after year. And I almost wish it was a conspiracy, because the truth is in a way more horrific than that, which is just there's kids all over this city that are smarter than the guys in those newspapers and in those skyscrapers, and they're being wasted. And then if you are, you know, someone who actually figures it out, which is not easy to do, right? Because, you know, the stuff you learn at university and the guys who taught you university are kind of dumb. You have to work it out yourself, basically. If you do work it out, then these banks will pay you £1 million a year to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So then the end result is, it's not a case of conspiracy. It's simply a case of very wealthy people can afford the best resources. And that includes the best analysis. And somebody like me can get paid £1 million a year to work in them skyscrapers. But I choose to tell people for free on YouTube because I want people to know what is going to happen so that they can stop it. Because what is going to happen is going to be a disaster for ordinary people. So it's not a conspiracy. It's simply a case of, look, watch the video What is Wealth. The rich people own everything. They have all the income. They can buy the best resources, the best analysis. Realistically, do you think the best economists on the world are going to be talking on the BBC News? Why the fuck would they? They can make so much more money working for the skyscrapers. You know what I mean? So in reality, it's not about conspiracy. It's simply about rich people trying to get richer, buying the best resources, buying the best knowledge. And that means ordinary people are not going to get good resources for free. And I think that's why I think it's so important that I do this. As somebody who was one of the best paid economists, I give the people good information because people in the city, the best people in the city, they know this is happening. They know this is happening, but they're bought into it, they're well paid to do it, and they feel like they can't stop it. And whether I can stop it, I don't know, but I feel like I deserve to at least try, and people deserve to be told what's happening. So my concern with these conspiracy theories is they get people to be too negative and they get people to be angry. But the only way we win this is if we get people to be positive and if we get people to come together. You know, these conspiracies drive division, they drive people apart, and they force people into sort of panicked modes of thinking. Look, is 70, 80, 90% of the country getting fucked here? These people just need to come together, turn around and say no, and it will stop. And that is a question of people coming together, so it can happen. But you need good information, you need good advice, and you need something positive to get behind. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying my best to be that. So if you like the information you're getting, tell your friends, tell your family. And let's make something positive happen because positive change is possible, man. That's why I do this. Keep watching. Because we are draining the resources of this economy and giving it to the super rich who do not pay any tax.
Yeah, he's my boy, man. He's my boy. I like to see a billionaire just take the mask off for once and just directly rob everyone. Yeah.